to the show. This is The Force Always. My name is Diz, a.k.a. David Zammit. Let's get on with the show, with the news, the views, the reviews, and interviews. Anyway, just as a quick note, late last week I had some technical difficulties with some of the equipment that I have here. So that's why I was unable to bring you a weekend episode that I've been usually doing. But I'm back on board. It's all good. It's been rectified. Let's start this week off like a new day, a new time. Anyway, let's get on with the news. Sam Witwer, I think that's how it is, that's how you pronounce it. Witwer, he plays the voice actor of Maul, or some of you out there may know as Darth Maul. He's the voice behind the new animated series coming out in less than a week's time, Maul Shadow Lord. And he said in a interview online that it's an emotional version of Maul. What that means, we can only find out. It's less than a week, and that's a week away, and it's great. More about my ideas of what has been also possibly being put out there, not as being reported, but put out there. There is room for a season 2. It's been labelled this particular season as season 1, which is the episodes we're going to get in the next week, all 10 of them. It's been labelled season 1, but I think it's just a standard that Disney do, just to sort of create an understanding it's a TV show. But, season 2, to my thoughts, a bit later in the show in the views section. Anyway, so more news. Star Wars Celebration in LA is also fastly approaching. It's about a year away. It's between April 1 and April 4 in LA. And you probably want to get onto the hotel booking sites to book your position as close as you can or want to the actual area, because LA, and I know this for real, LA has one of the worst traffic conditions, bumper to bumper traffic badly. If you're going to be, near Hollywood Boulevard, near the Chinese Theatre, trying to get down to downtown LA, you're talking almost over an hour. So just to let you know, it might be sort of fun sort of be near the Chinese Theatre, but, you want to sort of have yourself have about an hour plus just to get to the event from that point. So look on your favorite hotel booking site or hotels itself, and maybe book your Star Wars Celebration LA hotel soon. When they become available, they should be available in the next week or two. So just have a look. Anyway, to more news. There's been another great, and that's sort of a bit of a giveaway on my behalf, but another AI fan film online that you can see. I'll be reviewing that in my review section later on in the show. It's called Left Behind on Hoth, Echoes of the Battle. That's later on in the show. Anyway, that's the news. Let's get into the views. Views is my story idea, where I say, and I mean that I accept the story for what it is. I'm not spoon-fed with all the, what people may call dribble or dabble or whatever it is. I accept the story for what it is, because the storyteller has their own way of telling a story, whether it's for monetary reasons or whether it's for, creative reasons, whatever it is, that's the story. To be honest, Star Wars is the type of storytelling that is, always has some sort of good level about it. Anyway, so let's get into my story idea. It's actually to do with Maul Shadow Lord that's coming out. We've been reported that it could be a season 1, it may be a season 2. Well, the time between the end of episode 10, which is the last episode in this known as season 1 of Maul Shadow Lord, all the way to where he actually, and I'm a bit of a spoiler here, just to give you a moment to put your cameras off or TVs off or whatever it is, here comes a spoiler, to the point that Maul passes away or dies or whatever you want to think of it. So episode 10 of season 1, Maul Shadow Lord, all the way when he dies, is only a small bit of time. There could be, an event or events that you could, extend on, but there's not much there. For me, I think, capitalizing on something that maybe gets a lot of viewership could be a good idea to explore that area. But at the same time, creatively, I think it's just going to be the same story over and over at this point, almost like CSI Star Wars, if you were to think of it that way. It's just going to be about crime. It's just going to be continuation. I don't think there's much more to sort of extend from. I personally, as my story idea, wouldn't do a season 2, even if it really did make a lot of money in season 1. I just think, it'll be a nice, neat sort of area of explanation of what Maul is up to at that point. That's all you really need. It's really comes down to that. That would be the most exciting point, just as sort of some, underworld criminal activities in 10 episodes is what is really required in a fun way. Anyway, that's my views for this time around. Let's get into reviews. Reviews this time around is a fan film that you can actually see on YouTube. It was, I think at this stage, uploaded about 3-4 days ago. I was actually going to bring it to you on Sunday, to some people in the world, your Saturday. I had it on, it was only a couple of hours old at that point, but it's called Left Behind on Hoth, Echoes of Battle, Chapter 3, Star Wars fan film. That's what you put in your description when looking on YouTube. Again, it's Left Behind on Hoth, Echoes of the Battle, Chapter 3. Now, I give this particular episode a 9 out of 10. I tell you what, they just keep rocking it hard. Really, really well done. It's not a 10. It's not 11 out of 10, as I sometimes say. But this one is, if you want some great action sequences, this has it. Absolutely has, amazing sequences. Like, this is like state-of-the-art sequences. Not just because it's AI, because of the story that's being told through these sequences. And it's just amazing. Like, it really tells a story in itself. I just think there, in this particular film, it sort of ends a little bit nothing that is, cliffhanger type sort of thing. It was more subtle. The entry into this was, epic, but it was just a bit subtle. Just the story itself, I'd say the story contained is just a 9 out of 10. It just misses the mark, but it is probably a 10 out of 10 when it comes to the action sequences from an AI fan film. It's just amazing. Seriously, amazing. But it does get a 9 out of 10. Check it out. Check it out before this gets pulled down by whoever it is who wants to pull this down from YouTube, because I tell you, it's just some cinematic history on your computer, if that's a way of looking at it. Anyway, that's my reviews. Now let's get into the interviews. Interviews this time around, actually every time around, is actually my comments that I get on my last particular video. So send in your comments or, trivia questions. I'm not Mr. Trivia, but I'll give it a shot. I may Google it. I don't know. Ask my opinion or just send your comment. And also, while I'm on it, subscribe to the channel, The Force Always. I'm here 3 or 4 times a week. And let's get into the questions. And it's our favourite man again, once again, Michael from Werribee South. It's a part of Melbourne, Australia, on the other side of the bridge for good reason. I'll leave it as that. Anyway, let's get into the questions. The day in the life. Question. If you lived in Star Wars Galaxy, what would your job be? Jedi, bounty hunter, moisture farmer. Well, for me, because I've come from an era of Star Wars that was in 1977, And the way we looked at Jedi, especially in the early 80s, mid 80s, was not really an official rule book organization. It was just saying, well, this is the good side. This is the pursuit of being a hero. That's what Jedi sort of was represented back then. Then, whole Star Wars lore really got into it, and there was all these rules and regulations, and then we sort of saw the demise of this in the prequels, of if following all these type of rules and regulations, can lead people astray, and you can be, even in the eyes of good, be in a bad point. And Yoda was one creature that suffered the consequence of being not thinking of the big picture here, but just sticking to the rule book. And but anyway, for me to answer that question, I mean, Jedi in the name of being in the name of good, because anything I buy personally, when I buy things, I love to buy the Sith stuff. I love to buy the Empire stuff. I love to buy the dark side stuff, but I avoid it because I believe in the name of good. And so Jedi, I'd probably be Jedi. Bounty Hunter is actually good. It's just a survival way of living life in the galaxy. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a dark side to those guys. So Bounty Hunter sort of. Moisture Farmer, if I wanted a simple life, just to be quiet, that's it. So really, I'll say Jedi, but Bounty Hunter has its perks, but its downside. And Moisture Farmer is just a little bit vulnerable in the galaxy that we know far, far away, because you can be really taken advantage of. Anyway, so the next question from Michael: is the rule of two for the Sith a brilliant strategy or a fatal flaw? Very good question. I think it's a fatal flaw, because every single time that we have technically seen the apprentice wants to kill his master, or she wants to kill their master, and it's just always going to happen. I think the whole idea of the rule of two is a little bit abstract. It's a little bit unusual for evil to really pursue, because it's sort of like abiding to the rules of some sort of good, the rule of two, when really they are just in it for themselves. So I would say it's a fatal flaw in storytelling, but I accept it. I accept the story for what it is. Anyway, the next question: is the Jedi prohibition of attachments actually a good idea? So from Michael again. I think attachment, if you really understand the word attachment, it can lead you astray. I think it's actually a good idea to be sort of, attachments within an organization. It can cause you some issues. Just think of your place of work. If you have an attachment of your personal life come into the workplace, it becomes a bit of a conflict of interest at your workplace. I think attachments is not is a good idea, but the fact that Jedi cannot love, I think that's a little bit of a not good idea. I think that is something that should be or should have been rethought a little bit more closely. But again, I accept the story for what it is. Anyway, the next question is if the Force dictates destiny, are the characters truly responsible for their actions? It's another interesting question. It's yeah, they're responsible for their actions. They've believed that the destiny of the Force dictates what they should do. Whether they've been led astray, well, that's a different area. But they've actually done the act, whatever the Force has got them to do, and whether it's dark or good, and they are responsible for their actions, or your actions, or my actions, or whatever. You got to take responsibility. The next question, was the Empire actually better at managing the galaxy than the New Republic? Well, the thing that they had mastered is fear in their whole galaxy through a long period of time to get to that point, and then a very long time after that point. Fear is really what ruled the galaxy. You could say that was more an efficient way of getting people to sort of get with the program, but the Republic is all about sort of peaceful living. To the Empire, they had the peaceful living because they don't think it's bad, they think it's good. But, it's really, I think the Republic was better because it was about actually peace and good. The Empire was just more efficient in getting the job done in people obeying. That's the only way to answer that question. Anyway, the last question, should the Jedi have been involved in a war at all? Well, what's happened here? Because of the manipulation of the Emperor, which was Palpatine, he had, and the peacekeepers at that point before the Real War started were the Jedi. So he thought, well, let's get these peacekeepers into action and be distracted. So why not create a war? So Palpatine, or the Emperor, really created a great distraction. So should the Jedi have been involved in a war at all? Technically, no. They are peacekeepers. But because it was so widespread and so long and drawn out, and the Emperor, or Palpatine at that point, created two sides to go against each other. He had the greatest manipulation, the greatest distraction. Even the Jedi could not see. They were clouded from the dark side. But I don't think the Jedi should have been involved in a war, but really efficiently trying to resolve this rather than being dragged in the mud for that length of time. But, we're all human or alien or droid, and we just do things in that manner, if that's why you're putting it. Anyway, that is the show for this time around. Subscribe to the channel, The Force Always. I'm here 3 or 4 times a week with the news, the views, the reviews, the interviews, and just hold your pants or hat or whatever you like to hold on to, because Star Wars Celebration is fastly approaching. I'll be giving as much information as I can in the coming weeks, months, whatever it is. And until next time, my friends, keep rocking.